Palantir stock, being all in Palantir stock. That's what we're speaking about here today, folks. This is kind of like a follow-up video for me because many months ago, I did a video here on the Reaction channel about this gentleman that was 100% all in Palantir. And he went on to Amit's channel. And now Amit just did actually a follow-up with him and kind of get his views on Palantir stock, being all in Palantir, where he thinks the company's going, what he thinks going on with the stock price, things like that. And so I thought I would watch this and react to this with you guys here today and just kind of hear where this gentleman's at, okay? Now, in regards to myself with Palantir, this is my main account I own Palantir in, and I have about $56,000 in the stock as of right now, right? Cost base is $38,000 on this. You know, before we get into this, let me just share my thoughts about being all in a stock, because I know it's, you know, popular in terms of, you know, some people thinking, oh man, I think I see such a great opportunity, I want to go all in the stock or something like that, right? My views on this is it's not worth it. My personal, the amount of stress it leads to is astronomical. As somebody who's been in the market 15 years, I've made plenty of mistakes, right? Plenty of stocks that don't work out. Every investor, doesn't matter how great a quality you are, you're going to make mistakes. Buffett sells stocks for losses. Warren Buffett, he's got unlimited experience, unlimited time on his hands to be able to spend to look into companies, and he gets stocks wrong. There's no one in the market that doesn't get some stocks wrong. And so being, you know, thinking this way, right? If you are all in a stock, all it takes is one to knock you out, right? One you get really wrong, and that's all it takes to knock you out of this game, right? And so me, I've been through some tough stocks before that didn't work out, and I always make it through, and I never have to lower my lifestyle. Nothing like that in the past 15 years, despite being wrong, because that's what's going to happen. But if you're all in a stock and you're wrong, that's it. You're done. Your portfolio's over. Okay. And you know, I don't want to say there's no recovery for that, but the recovery time is so long to get back to where you used to be. Versus if you're diversified, 10, 20 stocks, great companies, growth stocks, value stocks, dividend stocks, it's so much less stressful. And I can tell you there's a million opportunities in the market. That you should be able to find a lot of opportunities in this market. If you can't find opportunities, you're just not looking hard enough, or you just don't know what to look for. It could be one of those two issues, okay? And so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Now let's go ahead and get into this, guys. I appreciate you joining me as always. Thanks for being subscribed. 27,000 and I think 100 plus subscribers now on the channel. I appreciate y'all, and let me know what your thoughts are on this gentleman and his thoughts and whatnot, and we'll get into this.
Because you know, I'm one of the biggest Palantir bulls, right? You know me on social media. And even I was not loading up as much as I was in 7 and 8. I was buying fucking N phase because I was like, well, maybe I should diversify a little bit.
Oh, come on, Amit. I'm not trying to get demonetized here.
And I'm just like, you know, it's something, a lesson I want to learn from you at this age, because if you believe, you believe. And if you get burned on what you believe, then it's a question of why you came to that belief and what was wrong with your research, investment process, due diligence. And that's okay, because then you learn from that. But see, if you miss out on the upside because you're in fucking a solar stock when you don't even believe it.
I don't want to speak on his end phase there, but here's how I think, okay? I would much rather be a situation where I say, gosh, why did I only have $38,000 in Palantir stock in the public account, rather than I'm all in Palantir stock and then it doesn't work out and I was wrong, and I was wrong about the product, I was wrong about their opportunity, I was wrong about everything, right? I can tell you, as somebody that's been through losses and a lot of wins, man, it's much better to say, I wish I would have invested more, instead of I invested too much. Trust me on that, man. The feeling's much better.
You have to be very clear that why you are making money in a particular stock. A lot of time you make money in a stock because market is moving up, sector is moving up. And we think we are the genius who is making. We are not making money because, I mean, most of the time the stock market goes up then down. So technically, a lot of time you make money not because of your own skill. So it is very important. You know, when we talk about going all in, because I knew that particular time that the stock will move in the same direction where the market will move. Okay. Then in terms of a sector, I know that sector is a hot, so a lot of stocks in this sector will go up. Then I look at the company, and then I start making company in terms of company, the peer comparison. I think this is quite undervalued. So when you put those three things together, and you know, whether it works or not, only time will tell. Whether somebody should do it or not. Until today, it is very controversial that a lot of people went Tesla all in. Okay. But how?
There's also, I can tell you, there's also stories, and I've been in the Tesla community so long that I've seen so many different things, right? And there were some folks that made a lot of money on Tesla. But I can tell you there's also a lot of people that were all in Tesla way before it made its massive run. And, you know, there's people that even took it a step further and then started margining out money, right? And then as Tesla wasn't moving for many years, because Tesla stock didn't do anything for like 5-6 years, you know, they were paying crazy amounts of margin interest year after year after year, right? And then there was people that took it to the next level, because you got to understand, once you start down this rabbit hole of like taking like crazy risk, which, you know, going all in a stock is pretty crazy risk, then you're like, well, why would I just go all in the stock? If I believe in it so much over the next couple of years, why not go all in call options then at that point, right? And so then you get people that go all in call options, and now you need the stock price to do certain things by a certain date. And now it's more about what the stock price is going to do rather than the company, right? And that's the scary part, is you keep like, you have this tolerance, and it keeps getting higher and higher for the levels of risk you're willing to take, right? Until you get bitten so bad that you're like, oh gosh, okay. Or you just keep going down that rabbit hole. You know, think about it this way. You know, you can make a great move. Next thing you know, your portfolio's $500,000, right? And then you go all in the next one, right? Or all in call options or whatever. And next thing you know, your account's at 0, or your account's at 100,000. And then it takes years to build back up to that 500K again. This is a trouble with that, and not having a well-rounded, diversified, great portfolio.
You manage your risk is more important. I didn't go Tesla all in.
Do you think, and shout out to 600 people being here as well. Thank you, 600 people, for joining us on this day. Pretty big for Palantir. Do you think Palantir has, you know, the potential to be like a Tesla, not in terms of return, but just in terms of one of those companies? I know we did an interview back in 2022, and you told me when you talk to MBAs, you think they are misunderstanding Palantir the same way they're misunderstanding Tesla. Do you still believe that there's just a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to Palantir and Tesla at the same time?
So there is a lot of misunderstanding in terms of Palantir, both by Wall Street, both by enterprise. Do I see Palantir as a Tesla? No, I don't see Palantir as a Tesla. Okay, to me, Tesla is a far bigger story than Palantir as of today. Okay, in terms of community engagement, I mean, yes, Palantir is analogous to Tesla, like where Tesla was 6 and 8 years ago. See, you need to remember, Tesla created an industry. Okay, I mean, what you do in Tesla is a real engineering. You need to build things by hand. Okay, what Palantir is doing, Palantir is expanding on something that already existed in dimensions that never existed before. Okay, so Palantir has certain...
Yeah, so I have a different opinion as somebody that's been an investor at Tesla for many years, and obviously now as an investor at Palantir. I don't view it that way, to be quite frank. My thoughts are, these are actually two very similar companies, right? It's not like Palantir is the first company to help governments make better decisions and companies make better decisions, right? There's a lot of companies that try to do that. Palantir's just got a different take and a different product fit than maybe anybody else had before, right? And it's not like Tesla's the first one to make an automobile, right? They're just the first ones to mass market an electric vehicle, right? And make that super popular and super successful. And so I look at both of them as just being kind of game-changing companies of taking what was already there and just taking it to much further levels and doing it on a very high level. So that's kind of my opinions and perspectives, and they're both very similar in that respect.
Advantage in terms of, we talk about in software, if you want to sell more, the marginal cost is very limited. It's almost zero. And Alex Karp said it also several particular times. Tesla, if you want to build a new Tesla, the marginal cost is not zero.
True.
Okay, you need to have the capacity and all. So that is the different part. So has Palantir exploited those dimensions to sell everything at this particular point? No. So, I mean, it is one of my favorite stock. It is all of my public equity position in my US long-term account. A company I believed in mission. I mean, I think they have a very strong moat. Okay, there is no company like that in enterprise. But are they Tesla? No, they are not Tesla, in my opinion. And in a way, it is good also. Okay, because they can remain under radar for a long time. Where I see Palantir, if you ask me, in terms of like the big tech that exists today, I see it as a company that could be a CRM one day.
Salesforce.
We also need to remember it's a B2B company. It's not a B2C company. Okay,
so seeing it as a Salesforce, okay, what's my opinion on that, right? In Salesforce, incredibly successful. I mean, if Palantir turns out to be, a Salesforce type company, I mean, that would be pretty great because you look at where Salesforce market cap is, even though it's down quite a bit from its highs. Like, oh my gosh, okay. I'll be honest, I don't really see it as being a Salesforce, although that would be great. And the reason being, Salesforce just has a different culture there, man. There's such a, I mean, their company's called Salesforce. There's such a company culture around sales. And I feel like Palantir is much more of a company based around product, right? And so I don't think Salesforce necessarily ever will have maybe as great of a product as maybe Palantir has. No disrespect, Salesforce phenomenal, right? But I also don't think Palantir will ever have the sales capabilities and sales team that a Salesforce does, right? Unless they really were to change that culture quite a bit. So, I mean, as much as I would love them to be Salesforce, I don't quite see it.
I mean, that's what I said. That this is what we do a lot of time mistake in finances. We make these thumb rules and then we force these thumb rules on something. You need to find what is unique about a company. And yeah, I mean, this is really a story on its own. It may not be Tesla's story, but
I mean, there's even stories about Alex Karp, like, you know, hating sales managers and like sales folks and those sorts of things, you know, and it's just like, that's like 180-degree difference than obviously Salesforce culture.
Will be a good story in my opinion.
Okay, last two questions I have for you. Do you think the AI buzz bubble that you were referencing earlier is a little bit of the reason we're seeing this upward momentum on the stock? Like, is that why we're getting some buying pressure because AI is becoming like crypto was in 2021?
No, I don't think so. At least at this point, I don't think that the move in Palantir is because of AI thing. Because the move yesterday was, I mean, the move for last 2-3 days. I mean, it's not violent move. It's a very consistent move. If you see, I don't know how many of you do it, but when I sit in front of computer, I mean, I always have the volume flow in front of me. That how it's a ticker that keep on going. I mean, how the orders are flowing through the market. When you are in a bubble kind of a move, the moves are very violent. I mean, see what happens with the AI ticker.
Yeah, it was up today as well.
So my view at this particular point is it's more institutional buying. Okay. I do not expect this is because of retail buying, but I do not expect at this particular point, because there is no consensus in the market at this time that what stocks are AI stocks.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own view.
Outside of Google and Microsoft.
Yeah. So if
100%, that's a great point. Think of it like this, right? If I had $1 for every time they talk about AI on CNBC over the past, probably, I'd say 4 to 5 months, holy smokes, man, this whole garage would be full of money right now, okay? Here's the deal. Almost every single time I hear about them talk about AI type stocks on CNBC, almost never do I hear those Wall Streeters, which, you know, CNBC is just a bunch of Wall Streeters going on there all the time, right? Almost never do I hear them speak about Palantir as an AI play, okay? I do believe that's going to start shifting. You're going to see that shift in quite a major way, in my personal opinion, over this next, I would say, 6 to 12 months. And I think you're going to start to see a lot more of that. People speaking about Palantir being an AI play, essentially, right? And if you want AI diversification, you better get in Palantir. So I do believe that's going to change. But if you just go back over the past 4 or 5 months, everybody, when they speak about AI, NVIDIA comes up, okay? Because obviously their chips are selling between $10,000 and $30,000 from what I see for their AI chips, right? Microsoft comes up because obviously ChatGPT, which is a thing that's really blown the doors off of mass popularity and getting everybody interested in this, right? Those are the two it comes back to time and time again. Then they might mention Google and some other stocks, but those are the two, okay? And so I believe that is going to change. I believe we're going to get a switch, and I believe a lot of folks are going to start talking about Palantir, but that's got to play out here.
This is an AI stock mania in Palantir. I mean, Palantir will be 20 by the end of this month. So I don't think...
Wait, did he just predict Palantir is going to be $20 by the end of this month? Hold your horses. Let me...
Microsoft.
Yeah. So if this is an AI stock mania in Palantir, I mean, Palantir will be 20 by the end of this month. So I don't...
So he's basically saying Palantir will be $20 by the end of this month if this is actually an AI mania, right? Which today's Today's the 21st, so yeah, that would be, what is there, about 6-7 trading days left in the month. So yeah, that would be pretty extreme.
I think we are there yet. I mean, I don't think it is. People don't understand Palantir. How will they understand Palantir AI mode?
That is fair. That is very fair.
So I mean, and a lot of people even don't know. I mean, AI stock has a ticker, which is probably the best thing they have done in the history of the company.
Do you think Kathy buying is influencing other institutions, given your experience, give a shit about Kathy and what she buys?
See, in a way,
you just gave me an Elon pause.
In a way, yes. See, no, I don't know. I have shared this with you or not, but 90% people who make money, they don't know how to make money. They just do one thing: they just follow someone. Okay.
Yeah, it's me with Chris, to be honest. So
okay, so a lot of people see, okay, Kathy made a lot of money. She made these bets, and now she's making new bets. So they just go, but that will not drive this kind of volume. There are people who will definitely be investing. Okay, I mean, see, Wall Street and fund industries are in the industry of copycats. Everybody is not Peter Druckenmiller, or everybody is not at Thor. A lot of people just, that's why we say that 90% funds are basically just a slight mix of S&P. Okay, so there is a lot of copycat behavior on the street. So there must be something out there. But my understanding is this kind of move happens when large institutions buy.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this can't be retail driven to be up 15% in a day, right? There's just no way.
No, it cannot be. You need to see the order size. No? I mean, that's what I said. When you have the volume flow, you see how many big orders are flowing.
Right.
And how many big orders are flowing in pre-market and after hours. So that gives you an indication that institutions are active.
Yeah, so, Palantir was up, I think, about 25% last week. And yeah, you're going to need big money to come into the stock to be pushing it up in that sort of manner. There's no doubt about it, right? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kathy would continue to buy as the week went on and continue to, force that stock up in. And who knows how many shares she wants to buy when it's all said and done. And then there'll be other investors. But the other thing Palantir really has going is, I think some people are realizing S&P 500 inclusion is looking more and more realistic. As we get closer to that time, I can tell you more and more money is going to funnel in. Then if you add on top of that, Palantir actually starting to be recognized as an AI-related stock, that's a whole other level that happens there, right? And if you're thinking about, a $25 stock before the end of the year or something like that, how do you get there? They've got to keep executing and get to that S&P 500 inclusion, because there's just going to be so much buying pressure that comes in with everybody knowing that, once they're in the S&P 500, massive force buying, it has to happen, right? And obviously, they would have to start to be recognized as an AI play, an artificial intelligence play, and respected in that manner. If those two things happen, $25 by the end of the year would actually be a realistic possibility. But they need those two things to happen, essentially, right? The amount of money that would come in. And the thing is, it's going to be harder and harder to find sellers of this stock, because most people that are on this ride are really on this for the long term. There's a lot of, obviously, bulls in the stock that believe this is going to be, I've seen my longer term bullish thesis is like a $50 plus stock, right? I can tell you that's low end. I've seen a lot of folks' estimates that are real bulls around Palantir had this anywhere between $80 and a $500 stock. 500 flipping flapjack in dollars I've seen. So, in terms of my opinion perspective, it's actually really conservative compared to, I can tell you, most Palantir bulls out there. But then again, I went into Tesla much more conservative than a lot of folks. I had Tesla by the end of this decade being a $500 billion market cap. It ran all the way up to $1 trillion plus, way before we're still years and years away from that. And Tesla's profitability blew me away. I was shocked. They got so much more profitable and so much better margin than I ever anticipated that quickly. So, we'll see how it all plays out. I hope I'm too conservative in this situation, because that's going to mean a whole lot of money to be made for not only myself, but obviously all the Palantir bulls out there, which would be phenomenal news. So appreciate y'all as always. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being subscribed, folks. If you make over 6 figures a year, I got a free workshop I put together about a week ago or so for you guys. That's pinned comment down there if you want access to that. For people that make less than 6 figures a year, I got to have a workshop coming for you guys as well. I'm going to probably work on that this week, and that should hopefully help you with investing in this year and beyond. So appreciate everybody joining me as always. Much love and have a great day.